News Conference. Today we're excited to unveil the city's new website and to launch our recognition of Black History Month in Erie. Now I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Great. It's a great crowd. Appreciate everybody being here. Looking forward to a great news conference today. In honor of Black History Month, each Thursday in February, we will be welcoming one young African-American student from Erie's public schools to join us as mayor for the day. The students will be selected based on their improvement in the ABCs. Now, ABC stands for attendance, behavior, and class performance. The Erie School District calls this the Stair Climber Award. Students who win this award are recognized at the Erie School District's monthly meeting. So I want to kick off today's press conference by introducing you to today's mayor for a day, Ahmaud Tolbert Page. Ahmaud, would you come up and join me for a minute? Ahmaud's day began today with the fire chief, Guy Santone. Is Guy here? There he is. He met him at Wilson Middle School office and brought him to City Hall in the chief's SUV. After arriving at City Hall, he received the city lanyard that he's got on, a name badge. He also toured parts of City Hall after our weekly press conference. The rest of Ahmaud's day will include an opportunity to share his thoughts with me on Erie's future, a tour of City Hall, a tour of the firehouse and a ride in a fire truck, a tour of the Erie Police Station and a ride in a police cruiser, lunch with me and my team. Ahmaud will actually join us for our monthly brown bag lunch with the mayor. Ahmaud will also receive one of my pens. He's actually going to get 2 pens, a city lapel pin, which he does have, and photos and certificates commemorating today's experience. Ahmaud will also be submitting a 2 to 3 paragraph student reflection on his experience as mayor of Erie and to his English teacher next week. He will then be asked to share this reflection with the school board at the March school board meeting on Wednesday, March 13th at 6 p.m. at East Middle School. And I look forward to reading that as well, Ahmaud. So Ahmaud, welcome. Congratulations on earning this recognition. Keep up the good work. You are Erie's future. Thank you, Ahmaud. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about the city's new website, and I'm not going to talk much about it because, I'm an old white guy. I don't know much about the internet, but next, my team and I we're really excited to unveil the city's new website. This new website is state-of-the-art and gives easy access to any information about City Hall. This, of course, is part of our commitment to be open, honest, transparent, and accessible, and to deliver world-class service to the people of Erie. Andy Steinmetz, the city's first ever media and innovation strategist, began work on this website back in May. Andy's work included securing a partnership with Penn State Behrend, engaging with the City Grows to create the needed online processes, working with all city departments to update their information. With the help of Dr. Kathleen Noche, Andy engaged Penn State Behrend students to help actually build the new website. This has been a wonderful partnership. I'd like to ask Dr. Greg Philback, Director of the Black School of Business, to come up and tell us about Partnership Erie. Greg and I, by the way, go way back. We've worked out at the same gym for a lot of years. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're very excited about this collaboration. Partnership Erie has been around since 2001. And Dr. Kathy Noce has served as the director of that program throughout the time of its existence. The Partnership Erie is part of the broader outreach mission of Penn State Behrend and the Black School of Business. It supports the mission for universities' overall need to be able to be out in the community and be trying to make a difference in ways that can be meaningful to the community. So its mission, Partnership Erie, is to provide needed technology services in the greater Erie community. And actually, since 2001, Partnership Erie's helped to develop over 300 websites for nonprofit and other organizations that otherwise may not have been able to get that web presence. It also provides an opportunity for the students to be able to have a great opportunity for learning by doing, to be able to apply what they're learning as a part of the programs that they take within the business program or elsewhere at Penn State Behrend. One additional intention of what we try to do with Partnership Erie is also to try to make the students aware of the great needs that exist in the nonprofit community, so they themselves will become volunteers if they're not already doing so in their collegiate years and their post-collegiate experiences. So again, we're very excited to be a part of this, and great work from Jeremy and the team. You'll be hearing a little bit more about that as we go along. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Philbeck. This really has been a very rewarding process. The city has gained a great asset that will enable us to better communicate with all of our residents. The students also gained some great real-world experience, as Dr. Philbeck mentioned, and they'll benefit from that, as will their careers going forward. This is the kind of collaborative, mutually beneficial work that improves our entire region. Now I'd like to turn it over to the man of the hour, the man who has been working on the new website day and night for the last 10 months, Andy Steinmetz. He'll now show us the new website. Andy?
There she is. So I'm just going to let it play for a little bit. Well, there's a time-lapse thing going on. Well, I thank some people. Obviously, I want to thank Barron and Jeremy and his team for all the work they did, Dr. Nose, and just working with us, offering this service to us for free as an experience for the students. It's been trying at times for both sides of the equation, but we got it done. Aesthetically pleasing. As you see, the menus are better. They look like website menus. It's not too exciting. And so let's just get into some things. First of all, the one thing we want to draw attention to is that part of the mayor's vision is to celebrate our diversity, and that includes people who might not speak English as a first language. So we added a big translation feature and made sure that the whole site is translatable. So that means any text that's in there is in there in text and not in JPEG form or something, so that it can be translated and that anybody who needs to can access it. I like to change it to other alphabets because I think it looks the coolest. I can't read any of it anyways, but so if you change it to Nepali, it changes to all the Nepali text and everything. So as you can see, everything, even the widgets and everything, all convert over. So that's part of just making the website accessible for all citizens, whether or not they speak English as a first language, so that they can get the information they need to live in Erie. Okay, so we're back to English. Obviously, as you see, front and center is the search functionality. So that's the whole point of this site, is you're not supposed to go through those menus and find anything. You're supposed to just be able to type in whatever it is you want to look for and just find it. So if you want to go to find a special events page, you just type in special events, should come right up. It does, boom. And then that'll take you to the page. Obviously, again, everything is text-based so that it would be translatable to everyone else. And probably the coolest feature that would be, I guess I could have rigged something up to show you, is actually how accessible this is on mobile. The back-end stats show that over 50% of our users are coming from mobile, and that's on our current site, which is not mobile-friendly. This site completely works on mobile. I would actually argue it looks better on mobile. And so that'll allow people who are accessing it from their phones or tablets to be able to do what they came to that site to do in the first place. And again, like I said, over half of our hits on our old website were coming from mobile. We just expect that number to continue to grow now that the mobile functionality is enabled. Okay. Probably one of our biggest changes, and one of my favorites, is our move to E-Code 360 for all our ordinances and everything. This is a third-party site, so it's going to leave the main site and go here. From here, you can search our entire code, ordinances, everything, whether it's agendas, minutes. We're still updating some stuff. Soon we'll have the zoning code in there. We'll have basically any public document is in here. It's completely searchable. So now you don't have to go through what our old system was, which was lots of PDFs. So now you can search anything you want. If you want to find out what rules are on dogs, whether you need licenses or stuff, you can come in here, find through code, agendas, minutes, whatever it is you want, and then we can navigate back to this main site. Okay. We'll go back to the home page. We also Our AmeriCorps Vista, Aaron Carey, actually built out this cool little feature, which is, we're calling it My Neighborhood, which is if you live in a neighborhood and you need some information about your neighborhood, whether that's your trash pickup day or your school district. This would make sense if you're moving into a place or if you're looking at a house in somewhere and you need this information. You can go through here and find all the information you want. Neighborhood organizations have been put in here, including, we see like, we've got Best over here, we've got Snoops up here. Our West Bayfront is all mapped out. So if you know where your house is on the map, you can find out all this information. So thanks to Aaron Carey, like I said, our AmeriCorps Vista for getting all that information together and putting that in the back end of that. Another thing I was working on until very late last night was our public meetings calendar. This was feedback from a citizen who was, multiple citizens said it, but one specifically was bringing up that it was very difficult to find out when public meetings were. So we built out a simple calendar that shows, when any calendar or when any event, when any meeting is, whether it's a city council meeting like we had last night, or today we have this City of Erie Building Code Board of Appeals at 1 p.m. And you can go there. It should have everything mapped out and everything. The internet's a little slow in this all-concrete room. So you see it has mapping technology and everything like that. So pretty easy. You can add it to your calendar and everything. And again, events are searchable. So if you go through that search function, you will also just find the events listed in the search on the SERP page. Okay, online payments. That's the big one that we've been asked for since the beginning. The day I started the job, people were asking me, why can't we pay certain things online? So the two big ones we have in here are the parking ticket system. That was actually done by the parking authority. So it was just sort of serendipitous that it worked out for the website. You can now, if you do get a parking ticket, you can go online and pay that ticket. So again, Christopher Friday and the team from the parking authority made that. Deputy Treasurer Ed Williams was working until, I think it was earlier this week or late last week, to actually now make it so that you can search your taxes online. Before you had to kind of type in the amount you owed based on, you just had to read it and then type it in and make sure that those numbers matched up. Now you can go in here, use your index number and your address, find what you owe, and pay that directly. And if you're in installment payments or something, it'll automatically update and show that you've made that payment and how much your remaining balance is for the next installment. Okay, so thanks to Deputy Treasurer Ed Williams for doing all the back-end work on that with some of our current software that we have in-house. Okay, so basically if you want to keep going through the site, we could, but we've built the bones of this site, and now going forward, we'll be able to integrate more processes as we advance internal processes to have a digital presence. So we'll be able to put those in through this website. And we'll continue rolling those out. One of the big ones is, the mayor mentioned earlier, is City Grows. So we'll go back to special events and bring up City Grows, which allows online processes and all that. It's a startup that moved to Erie with the incubator and has been growing in Erie. Currently has 2 employees in Erie, which is the most they have in any city. So here we go. We'll apply online. And Jasmine from City Grows is going to speak about City Grows. Oh, and I guess the last big one, I should probably give a shout out to Mike Folkrod and Brian King, our IT guys, who have done a ton of back-end work migrating the site over, making sure that public documents were available, making sure we moved all those public documents from their PDF forms into the E-code software so that all of that functionality still works. Sorry. And Jasmine from City.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Jasmine. I'm the Customer Success Manager with City Grows. I'm the first Erie hire. Again, like Andy said, we were brought in with the Secure Erie Accelerator Program with the Innovation District. That was over the summer. It was like a 6 to 9 week intensive program. We were one of the 9 businesses that were brought in. We started with the Citizen Response Center. That was a great process for us to start with because it actually touched multiple different departments within the city. So it was easy to introduce City Grows to the other departments. Our process with the Citizen Response Center allows citizens to submit a request, and when they submit it online, they can track it. So you submit it, and then, like you can see on the screen, you can see which steps are for the applicant, and as within the city when they finish it, you can see what step they're on, whether it's being reviewed, whether it's closed out, whether you need more information. Right now we have, I think there's multiple live processes. We have the Citizen Response Center, we have large item pickup, we have the mayor's proclamation. I know special events is coming also. We are, let's see. Our success in Erie has been definitely because of Mayor Schember and his administration. They have been very welcoming and very much on board with City Grows. So we definitely need to thank them. Thanks to Carl Sanchek in the Erie Innovation District and Ben Franklin. We're looking forward to continue to work with you guys, and thanks. And now off to the mayor.
Jasmine, really appreciate it. I also want to welcome Kyle Faust, County Rep, who is a new hire at City Grows, right? And currently working with City Grows. He's their second employee here in the region. We really highly value the City Grows relationship. They're not only helping us transform Erie, they've established their headquarters now here in Erie, and as we mentioned, have hired 2 of our local residents. One thing that's very obvious is that it took cooperation of an enormous team to redesign the city website, including the students and staff of Penn State Barron, Brian King and Mike Fulrod from our IT department, City Grows, obviously, and really every city department contributed to what you just saw. Thank you, especially Andy Steinmetz, for all your leadership and hard work to make this happen. We really appreciate that. Also, thank you to Paul Gibbons for the amazing time-lapse video that showcases some of the best images you saw of Erie earlier. Now we want to go back to Black History Month for a few minutes. Many of you have probably noticed that Andy and our intern Courtney Hinkle have been posting facts related to local African Americans on the city's social media. Thanks to Andy, Facebook readers have learned local facts over the last 6 days, like number 1, on September 10th, 1813, a skilled African American sailors enabled Oliver Hazard Perry to defeat and capture a British squadron during the Battle of Lake Erie. Their participation, which was critical to victory, secured their place in the region's history. 2, Harry T. Burleigh, who was born in Erie, was the first African-American composer to gain wide critical acclaim in the United States. He was a naval veteran in the Civil War and was the first black juror in Erie County in 1871. 3rd, Emma Gertrude Lawrence became the first female African-American business person in Erie when she opened Lawrence Dyeing and Cleaning on the northeast corner of 3rd and Chestnut in 1906. 4th, Earl Lawrence, one of Emma's 4 children, grew up studying music. Many of his arrangements were accepted commercially, and he spent many years as a performer in bands and dance halls. He also operated his own private music studio at 11th and State Street from 1916 to 1936. 5th, John Hicks was an ice cream maker, confectioner, baker, and inventor who, in 1878, opened an ice cream manufacturing business at 1406 Turnpike Street before moving just a few blocks away to 1218 State Street. And 6th, Val James, who was the first African-American to play in the National Hockey League. He played for both the Buffalo Sabres and the Toronto Maple Leafs. He got his start playing with the Erie Blades, helping them win 3 consecutive championships from 1978 to 1981. For more information on each of these community leaders and to continue learning more about African American history in Erie, follow us on Facebook at #ErieBlackHistory. Now let's focus on today's historical figure, R. Benjamin Wiley. The UECDC and the local chapter of the NAACP jointly reached out to us about proclaiming today R. Benjamin Wiley Day in Erie. We were honored and excited to do just that. Ben passed away 15 years ago, and you can see his fingerprints all over the city. He really left a tremendous legacy for us. When I was in high school, I loved basketball and played basketball. And my teammates and I would always come down to Gannon to watch R. Benjamin Wiley and Mel Witherspoon and others play for Gannon at the time. It was an incredible team. After the game, we'd all go back to the gym and pretend we were Ben Wiley and Mel Witherspoon. I always pretended I was Spoon because I like to jump. But now, I'm not going to read a proclamation, but before I read that, I would like to invite Ben's family to come up this stage, as well as the 30 students from the R. Benjamin Wiley Charter School to join me as I read the proclamation. They're really good at this, aren't they? Coming up and just... Yes, and we need the mayor for a day with us as well. So here's the proclamation. Whereas R. Benjamin Wiley was an active community leader, dedicated public service, and advocate for the most vulnerable in our community, whereas R. Benjamin Wiley was born and raised in Powhatan Point, Ohio, graduated from Gannon University on a basketball scholarship with a bachelor's degree in business administration, and later earned his master's degree in urban systems at Gannon. Whereas at the young age of 24, R. Benjamin Wiley became the director of the Greater Erie Community Actions Committee, which under his guidance became one of the largest social service agencies in Erie, serving more than 50,000 of Erie's most disadvantaged annually. Whereas R. Benjamin Wiley, a strong proponent of education and opportunity, established the GCAC Community Charter School, the Greater Erie Economic Development Corporation, the Walter Osborne Memorial Scholarship Fund, and the Erie Conference on African American Affairs. And whereas R. Benjamin Wiley was widely recognized as a community leader, receiving multiple local and national awards, including the Distinguished Pennsylvania Award by the William Penn Society, Distinguished Pennsylvania Award by the William Penn Society at Gannon University in 1988, the Employee of the Year by the Business and Professional Women of Erie County in 1889, the YMCA Black Achievement Corporate Cup in 1998, the Downtown Person of the Year in 1999, the Black Opinion Man of the Year in 2001, and he was a member of the Bay City Lodge number 68 in Erie, PA, and he achieved the designation as the 33rd degree Mason, which is the highest degree that can be earned from the Prince Hall affiliates Whitney M. Young, number 88 in Erie, PA, and that was in 1991. Now, therefore, I, Joseph E. Schember, Mayor of Erie, hereby proclaim the 7th day of February, 2019, as R. Benjamin Wiley Day in the city of Erie. I encourage citizens to live out his legacy by contributing to the community, advocating for others, and realizing the inherent potential in everyone. Can we have a round of applause for R. Benjamin Wiley? You guys can head back there. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for joining me. You guys can head back. A great diverse group this is, isn't it? This is a picture of Erie's future. And you kids have to realize you're the future of Erie. And we look forward to seeing what you all do as you grow up. Okay, next I'd like to invite Mr. Terry Lang, the CEO of the Erie Rise Leadership Academy Charter School, to come up and give us a preview on how they will be honoring R. Benjamin Wiley this month.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I had a cane that was assisting me today because your acting mayor plays for Wilson, and they played Erie Rise over the weekend, and he hit us for 20 points, and I got excited and hurt my knee. So he's the mayor for one day. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for giving us an opportunity to participate in Mr. Wiley's celebration here. Erie Rise, through its RFO organization, what we're going to do is we're going to end Black History Month with a tour of Erie Rise. And what we're going to do is we're going to transform the school into a museum. And we're going to open it up to the public, And what you're going to be able to do is come in while the scholars are actually in school, and you will see the work that they have done. They're going to actually display artwork for all of the historical or the local African Americans that are famous that the mayor just mentioned. But we're going to highlight Benjamin Wiley. So I've been working with the family, I've been working with the Erie Rise board, and what we're going to do is transform our school into a museum. So mark the date. It's going to be February 28th. It's going to be from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and it's going to be located at our school, which is from what I understand, one of the first schools that Mr. Wiley purchased for some educational programs that he brought to the city. So we're going to take that school. We actually leased that school from GCAC, and that's one of Mr. Wiley's projects, and you'll get an opportunity to see how we are still maintaining that building as we believe Mr. Wiley would have liked us to maintain that building. So again, the tour is going to take place on the 28th of February, 12 o'clock until 2 o'clock. It's going to be located at 1006 West 10th Street. And the way that you can engage, we ask that everyone just call 520-6468, and they will be ready to take your calls. I will, or our principal will get back to anybody that wants to call, but pre-registration is very, very important because our scholars will be in school on that particular day, and there will be a lot of moving parts, and we need to control that environment. But we're going to open it up to the public. Many of the people that the mayor mentioned that are local African Americans that may have been forgotten, you will see a lot of that artwork displayed by our children in the building, and then we will highlight Mr. Wiley on that particular day as well. So I want to thank the family for helping me, get all of the artwork to me, and if it's anybody out here that has a memory of Mr. Wiley, be it basketball, be it some pictures you may have, articles, things of that nature, reach out to us. We want to take that information and we want to display it in this museum. And it's going to be open to the public, so everyone will be invited. Again, the tour registration requires that you dial 520-6468, and you must register for this tour. I will, or the principal will get back to you in terms of finalizing your registration. Okay? So that's the contribution that Erie Rise is going to make. Many of you know that Mr. Lang is not from the city of Erie, but when I got here, I knew who the heavy players were, and Mr. Wiley was one of them. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing us this opportunity, and I want to thank the family for working with us, thank the board members for allowing me to do this, and I invite everybody from all over the city to participate in this museum. Okay? Thank you.
I'll tell you one more story about Ben Wiley before I invite his son and grandson to come up here and join me. And this I learned from Mel Witherspoon, who I've gotten to know, of course, over the years. There was a 5-overtime game at Gannon that Gannon won. And again, Mel told me that as they got into the second and third overtime, he kept telling Ben Wiley, get the ball to me, I can put it in. And Ben would say to him, get the rebound if you want the ball. So Ben wouldn't pass it to him, but he could get a rebound. So I'd like to ask Ben's son, Shelby Wiley, and his grandson, Shelby Wiley, to come up and join me. And I want to first present Ben's son with the proclamation that I read earlier, that is for you to keep and treasure. And now we'd like to ask grandson Shelby to talk a little bit about his grandfather. Shelby? Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Shelby Wiley, and Robert Benjamin Wiley was my grandfather. Growing up, he was always a role model in my life, and although I was not able to share as much time with him as I would have liked, I know how kind and compassionate he was. His genuine devotion to help others and strengthen the community is something to be honored. My grandfather was a very influential man, and his legacy will always be remembered. The Erie community is better because of the impact that he had. I wish he was here today to celebrate this special day, but I know he continues to watch over his loved ones from heaven. Thank you all for being here today and making this all possible. I would like to wish him a happy birthday, and may this day always be devoted to you. Thank you.
thank you very much for being here. It's just great to have Ben's flesh and blood right here in City Hall. Next, I'd like to ask and to conclude, have Stephen Trohosky come up to provide us some details about something he's working on related to Black History Month. Steve, of course, runs Art Lore Studio. That's out at 3406 Westlake Road. This Sunday on February 10th from 4 to 6, he has a program called the Amazing Ethnic Heritage Ensemble that will be performing. So, Stephen, thank you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for allowing me to come up here and speak. My name is Stephen Trohosky. I am a co-owner of Art Lore Studio. It's a creative space and a art studio. It hosts a gallery in it and live performances. The reason that I'm here today is I want to talk really quick about the Ethnic Heritage Ensemble, which will be coming to Art Lore Studio this Sunday from 4 to 6. The band will be stopping in Erie on their North American tour, starting in Los Angeles and going all the way through and coming back around and ending in Illinois. They have been together for 46 years. They started in 1973 after their leader, Kahil El-Zabar, returned from his studies in Ghana. They had their first gig in 1973 at the Child City Arts Center in Chicago. They have been touring for 46 years with different configurations and different band members, but always with Kahil El-Zabar as the leader. The leader of the group has performed and written music with Dizzy Gillespie, Paul Simon, Nina Simone, just to name a few people. He's written music for The Lion King for the stage productions. He has the intention of bringing modern African American music together with traditional roots African music and combining that into his story. So this is his story of 46 years. For over 20 of those years, the Ethnic Heritage Ensemble came to Erie. They made it a yearly stop every February. Although we celebrate every day the contributions that the African Americans have made in the arts. We specifically focus on this in February, and they would always make this stop. Thank God they're from Chicago. So they're used to the cold. So this year, there's some changes in the city, and they found themselves kind of without a home. So Kahil El-Zabar reached out to me, and we are having this performance. So it's Sunday, Art Lore Studio, 4 to 6 p.m. That's at 3406 Westlake Road. You can call 520-8800 for information. You can pre-buy tickets, and I think that's about it. So thank you very much. Again, Mayor Schember, appreciate it.
Thank you. Check out his footwear. That's pretty nice, isn't it? How do I get shoes like that? And Mel, I hope it's okay I told that story about you and Ben. Thank you, Stephen. That does wrap up. By the way, Stephen, you and Lena are doing a great job. His wife is the other owner, right, Lena? So thank you very much for what you're doing. That does wrap up today's press conference. Everyone that presented will be available for interviews when we're done. Thanks again to the kids from the R. Benjamin Wiley School for being here. And as I look just around this room, I'm so pleased with the great diversity and inclusive feeling that we have right now in Erie, and we want everyone to be accepted for who they are and what they do. Thanks very much for being here today.